Everyone, Joe here. Welcome to Fridays with Joe on Genderqueer Chat. This week's topic is one word. It is entitlement. And I'll just redo what Cole did the other day, which was just quick definition. There's legal definition, but that's not what I was getting at when I picked the subject. More the casual definition, which is a notion or belief that one is deserving of some particular reward or benefit. And it says, if given without deeper or legal or principled cause, the term is often given with pejorative connotation, a sense of entitlement. So there were a couple things that brought this subject up. One was, Chaz Bono is on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if you guys heard, but this is huge news, and apparently it's causing this enormous controversy, which I don't get. And several, mothers groups or Christian groups or whatever are coming forward and saying that this is an atrocity and that the family, what's normally family programming, they won't be watching this year because Chaz has no right to be on that show. They're acting as if you were born with a penis, you're entitled to be on that show, and if you weren't born with a penis, you're not entitled to be on that show. And this gets under my craw, as you can imagine. What cracks me up, just because if somewhere at some point transsexuality could be considered a birth defect. If a boy was born without a penis, literally had something there that was, whatever, a micro penis, let's say, instead of a whatever. This would, people would be sad and upset, and there would be surgeons involved, and everybody would be saying, well, we can't have a boy without a penis, so, it would be a birth defect, and it would be corrected, and that would be that. And no one would ever question that he was a male or a boy or deserved to be raised a certain way or deserved to be treated a certain way. So the fact that Chaz has been really criticized is getting on my nerves. And it's these people who have the sense of entitlement that are getting on my nerves. And it just it brought that word to the front of my mind. And one of the reasons that word also came to the front of my mind was that I belong to a group. It's a little bit unrelated, but I belong to a group of child-free people who would choose not to have children. And there's something in our vernacular, I guess, in the child-free community that is sometimes colloquial referred to, and it's a little bit negative, and I'm sorry if it's offensive, but it's called breeder entitlement. And basically what it means is people who have children who feel that they're entitled to special treatment because they're parents. And you'll hear this a lot in the child-free circles where, for instance, people who have children get the better vacation. Well, because my kids are out of school and I need to leave, or little Johnny's sick, I need to take him to the doctor. So they get to leave early, but people without children don't get to leave early, don't get to take the vacation. I once had my shifts cut at work, and my boss told me flat out, well, the new girl I hired has kids, she needs the money more than you do. Flat out. She's entitled to it, you're not. So that was kind of what prompted the word. But the word means different things to different people. And as it pertains to gender, it got me thinking. I read an article on sociological images. I'll link to it below. It's one of my favorite websites. They have a whole gender section. And one of the things they were talking about was harassment. And how women are notoriously harassed on the street by guys who just holler out, hey sexy, or oh you're beautiful. And these men feel that they're entitled to treat a woman that way. A woman they don't even know. They just feel that they have a right to act that way. But further to that, they feel entitled to a response from the woman, and a good response. So if you ignore them, or if you tell them to fuck off or something to that fashion, then all of a sudden they have the right to call you a bitch, or they have the right to call you, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why don't you smile? And I was just talking to my sister tonight, and she was saying this happens to her in the mall every single day. Every single day she gets harassed. And every single day she's uncomfortable. She feels like she doesn't even have a right to be in the mall because it's the closest place for her lunch where she works. And this sense of entitlement that these guys have, which again, let's read it once again, a notion or belief that one is deserving of some particular reward or benefit. And that is that these men feel that they deserve your attention, and it better be positive, or they have the right to call you names. This is just the world that I've lived in. Being raised female and having lived in a female body, I have historically been the victim of verbal harassment. As I said, in probably the last 10 years, I have not been. I think it's because I exude a hands-off attitude or a don't fuck with me aura, and that's the best I can come up with. I don't know why. But as I said, my sister gets harassed mercilessly all the time. And many other women do too. And I'm trying not to genderize it too, but I'm just speaking from the point of view of myself and what I've experienced in my lifetime and what my, people in my life experience. You could also say that a lot of gay people get harassed because they're gay, or queer people, effeminate men get harassed because they're effeminate men, or whatever. And the people doing the harassing feel that they're entitled to behave that way. And it boggles the mind, doesn't it? So, just to touch back on what I mentioned in my video last week, I know I kind of went on. I think like the first 7 minutes were the topic and the next 8 minutes were Jack Layton's funeral. But one thing that I'm very proud about living in Canada, being Canadian, is that there is a large chunk of the population. No, that's not what I want to say. Homophobia has been tempered quite a bit compared to how it was even 20 years ago, because the laws have changed, and intolerance is not tolerated, I was about to say, but for instance, we have hate laws in Canada where you can't say certain things, you'll get arrested. You can't spew hatred. I think Buju Banton, I think it was. My sister was telling me it was a Jamaican rapper at any rate, or a Jamaican musician, who had a very, very homophobic song, who was not allowed to perform in Canada for that reason. Because my sister and I just went to Buffalo on the weekend to see a Toby Keith concert. There, I said it. I admit it. I'm a huge Toby Keith fan, but he's about as obnoxious and horrible and redneck as they come. And we saw him in Canada last September, and he didn't perform half the songs that he performed in Buffalo because he wouldn't get away with it in Canada. You can't do the Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, the boot in your ass song in Canada. You just can't do that. So I am grateful that there seems to be a culture of acceptance. It's not there yet, don't get me wrong, it's not 100%, but it's much better than in the US, for sure, and much better than other countries I know, where there is a culture of tolerance for sexualities and expression thereof. It's definitely not 100%, but it's much better. I walk around in this skin all day, every day, with this big mouth and this face, and I don't get harassed, and I don't generally get people acting as if they have the right to treat me a certain way. And it goes back to the bullying video I made, maybe, where sometimes I think I'm going to turn the tables and say I feel entitled. I feel entitled to walk with my head high, that I have the right to live like this, in this skin, with this big mouth, and I'm entitled to the rights and privileges, or what does it say again? Rewards or benefits that come along with this way of being. It's a notion or belief that I am deserving of what I get when I present this way. And what I deserve is to be treated like a human and to be treated with respect. And that's weird, isn't it? I feel entitled to that. I do. I feel entitled to that. Okay, so that's it for this week. Short and sweet. Not really. Still 8.5 minutes. You know me. Brevity, is that the word? Is not my strength. So catch you next week. And welcome to Cole, who's now full-time on the channel. Stefan, bye-bye, Stefan. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.